Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful day because it's going to get even better right now. It's day number 9, Playday number 9 for NACL. We are getting set here. I'm your host, Brimstone. I've got Tanner, and Connor has descended, I tell you, from the casting heavens to rejoin us here down in the lowly desk dregs. Connor, how was it last week?
Not gonna lie, I like it here. I'm
I thought you
comfortable
were going
here.
the other way with
I
that. Not
missed
gonna
you.
lie, you're like, not
I
gonna lie,
missed
I'm
you,
pretty
Brim.
depressed.
Brim, I missed you. Tanner, I missed you. Cookies, he's off somewhere, but I missed
Mhm.
him as well.
Yeah, he's listening in. Don't worry. I hope he is. It's his job, right? Well, hey, we'll find out. So, Tanner, let's talk about this stage. It's been unbelievable so far. We've had so much action and tons of unexpected results.
I mean, this has been one of the most competitive stages of Siege that we've had in Challenger League. I think top to bottom. I think the fact that if you can break this down into two groups, you've got your top 7 teams, all of which, except for Vipers, are basically in the running right now to be able to secure top 4, which is what they need for the points overall, which we'll get to here in a second. And then when you look at the teams that are in the bottom 4, Aerial Rise, Unemployment, Elyssar, Gaming Gladiators, none of these teams were the teams that we were going to have pegged down here. In fact, Aqualix and Took the Kids were the teams that I personally had pegged down there, and they have blown everyone out of the water with everyone's expectations out of the water. They've been putting up really solid numbers, from being absolutely competitive every game. They're good drone work, good fundamentals, and they're putting themselves in a position where they're pulling away at the top of the standings. And right now, Took the Kids, like, it's their day to lose. Like, if they win, they've secured first place at this point.
So let's extrapolate from here. Let's talk about what this all means because it doesn't end here with day 9
Mm.
as we are, capping off a section. In theory, it doesn't really matter except for the teams at the bottom right now.
All right. So basically, at this point, you've got the top 8 teams, I would say, are still in viable contention for playoff picture, right? Vipers being in 4th right now with 33 points. And if you look at the teams that are just below them, Aqualix also has 33. So it's separated by round diff. Ariel's only 1 point behind. Nocturne's only 3 points behind. And they've all set themselves up in a position here where they're going to be able to compete in stage 3 for the top 4 positions and potentially make playoffs. I think this is. It's just showing what a great year of Siege that we're having. The fact that we still, at this point, have 8 teams that are likely to finish in the top 4.
Mhm. Now, Connor, on the player side, have we seen much shift in the last couple of play days, or do we see a lot of the same names on the leaderboards?
There's a whole lot of the same names, mainly in that second column. I think Dexter has been top of the entry since week 1. I do not think he has faltered.
No.
As well as Valor and Snake. They've been picking it up recently with Ferda and NVK. NVK actually new on the list, and maybe the old dog's got a couple more years left in him, as he actually has been playing quite well. On the rating side of things is something interesting. That is something I never in 50 million years imagined I would be saying right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the top rated player in all of North American Challenger League Stage 2 for the 2022 season is Gasher.
That's crazy.
It's
That's absolutely
Gasher.
crazy.
There's other stats though. Let's keep moving along the board here. Cost and survivability.
It's very hard to move past Gasher, but I will. Doc over on Cost has been doing an amazing job over on Nocturnes, as well as Slothy just a little bit below them. Those two players stepping up and constantly being involved in rounds. That has been a big reason why we've seen Nocturnes take that massive step, as well as on the side of survivability. Prod, he's a baiter. We know him. We love him. Just kidding. He's just on flank watch. He's supposed to stay alive. And with both him and Kilo, the two supports for one shots, being involved in high survivability, means that they're most likely having successful rounds and they're doing pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Tanner, as we talk about the first match here, it's going to be Aqualix taking on Elyssar. You brought up an interesting point where you said, like, with the unpredictability of what we saw in stage 2. Keep in mind, right now, stage 2, Aqualix sitting in second, Elyssar sitting in 10th. I don't mean to knock Aqualix, but if you told me at the start of the stage of these two teams sitting in second and 10th, I probably would have said the likelihood would have gone to Elyssar sitting in second. And maybe, although I don't think Aqualix would have been in 10th, I just did
Mm.
not see this coming with Elyssar, but Aqualix and that roster since week 3 has just had a fire under them.
I mean, one of the things that they did really well in the offseason was their roster change moves. And we see that with the picking up of Tra and Beastly. And what it ended up doing is it took it away from like this kind of every man for themselves kind of play style and into this cohesive unit with solid drone work. And that's why I had Beastly as my highlight player, not because his stats aren't the greatest. He's not supposed to have the greatest stats on Habana and Smoke, but because of the stability that he's been bringing to this roster in terms of getting good drone work, good fundamentals, making sure that the guys are pushing with info, making sure that site is always locked down. And he's just basically been their rock that's added a lot of support and enabled players like Gasher, Afer, Tra, and Psychosis to just pop off when previously in stage one, these weren't the players that we were, seeing doing this, with the exception being of Afer. So
Mhm.
Backstock coming in and just absolutely solidifying the core of that roster has turned what was a group of individuals into a team, and that's why he was my highlight.
Now, the story trending in the opposite direction, Connor, is that of LSR and their roster just never finding that foothold. And now, their stage and their season is in jeopardy.
Yeah, it's in a lot of jeopardy. This is final jeopardy, double jeopardy, whatever you want to say, because if they lose this game right now, they have no hopes at all of staying out of the relegation spot. What they need is a regulation win against Aqualix and a little bit of help from unemployment or Aerial Arise losing and not getting points. However, if you look at the players on this team, what you were alluding to, Brim, is that this is not a team that should be in this situation because there is so much raw talent and so much name power, mainly from the top all the way to the bottom. You've got two former Pro League players in the form of Wimpy and Young Alex. You've got two upcomers, Gideon and Rio, and you've got Charles Vivid, the mastermind behind them all. He's who I'm highlighting because he's always been an insanely solid player with his IGLing capability and as well as some fragging potential on the hard support, especially on defense. However, we haven't necessarily seen that much this stage. You can see at his stats, he's negative 32, but I'm going to steal the words of Tanner earlier. He's not really supposed to be having great stats on Habana and Smoke. However, at the end of the day, it's all just kind of indicative of how LSR has not been a strong team this stage.
Now, we'll get back into them with a little more detail in a second, but we've got to go into detail with Aqualix first, Tanner.
So my biggest critical point with them is, and I say it even in the point, like, and it's repetitive, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. LSR's biggest problem right now is on their attack half. They're not doing a very good job of managing their time and how much map control that they're actually taking. What I want to see coming out from the side of LSR or from the side of Aqualix is I want them to basically just keep controlling the pace. They've been doing this throughout. I want them to kind of tone it down on like the spawn peaks and the entry picks that they're trying to get, and just kind of make sure that they're putting themselves in a position where they're wasting as much of the clock. And then the second big point that I had for them is just get info. LSR is a team that can get ratty. They're a team that can do spawn peaks on the attack half. Your drone work is going to be absolutely imperative. Getting things like good cutoff drones that aren't getting shot, getting info on site, those are going to be your keys to success for Aqualix on the attacking half.
Now, Connor, I know you've got your own critical points, but one quick question I want to ask you. With the struggles of LSR, is this like the players are too similar play-wise, too different personality-wise? What could be the issues that are plaguing them, and how would they avoid that?
And we got critical points back. However, I'm going to answer your question that it almost feels like Kento's hole was just a little bit too much because he was very heavily relied on for a team that's constantly struggled in a transitionary period, kind of breaking the stalemate. That's what Kento was amazing for. He was a great tip of the spear. Now they don't really have that as much. Young Alec, you would expect to be able to fill that position.
It's just a pole now.
Yeah.
No spear tip, just a pole.
It's just dull, and it's like it's not going to break anything like that. But what I was saying is to focus up on the reset for the attacks, mainly for this side of LSR, because they have done a pretty great job at getting the opening picks. Both Enrio as well as Young Alec are getting in the building, getting that opening kill. However, they have one of the lowest conversion rates across the last 3 games out of any team here in Challenger League. They only have a 55% conversion if they get that opening pick. Considering how the meta has gone, it's a lot more frag heavy. We haven't really seen that not be the case. You kind of start the killing early and you get that man advantage. You can play with that properly, but LSR hasn't really been doing that. And then you kind of switch it onto the defensive side. You got to go right for the knees. You got to go for the weak point on the side of Aqualix, because right now, Tanner, Afer has been involved in 9 entry engagements over 3 games on his attacks. Guess how many he has won?
3.
He has won 1. He is 1 and 8. 1 and 8 on attacking entry. So right now, I think that Elyssar need all the help that they can get, and they need to pick this low-hanging fruit. I'm begging, please, just pick the low-hanging fruit.
Well, Connor, I'm glad you brought up the 1 in 9 analogy, because now moving into the map veto, there's a 1 in 9 chance we get Villa. And that's pretty low, Tanner. I'm hoping it's not Villa.
You're just nonstop with the dad jokes, bro. Okay, so going into the map bans, both these teams have kind of similar map pools. They both have maps that like to permaban, like Skyscraper Border permabans for Elyssar. Big maps I'm kind of looking for is Villa. Thank you, Elyssar. That's a map that Aqualix has particularly shown proficiency on. They've won a lot of their maps this stage, and Theme Park being the other map that they like to go to. Based on their map pools, I'm kind of looking at that Clubhouse as the game that they're going to, and there it is. And namely, it's because for Elyssar, it's the one map that they've been finding that consistency and some success on, and for Aqualix, it's another map that it's one of their comfort picks. I think this should be pretty competitive, but I think at the end of the day, I do think this map ban at least favors Elyssar, just because they're not going to a map that they've been consistently losing. This is a map that they've had a little bit more success on.
Okay, predictions wise. Now, Connor, we're coming to the end of stage 2. We've got better numbers for us across the board, and I believe the last time I checked, I think you were doing the bet. Oh, wait.
Oh, John's doing the best.
But I'm concerned about the desk right now. Can we just appreciate something about the desk, Connor? Who's on top for the desk?
Anything. I'm not.
I'm not acknowledging that.
I lost so many games last week because I wasn't here putting on my analyst brain. I had a caster, small little key brain. I was replacing Harrison Crow, and that's what he's at 41%. So I had to really, make sure I had the full camouflage on and nobody could tell the difference. So I had to make all my predictions wrong, and that's the only reason I went downhill.
However, you're punching down to his level, essentially.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying. Yeah.
Exactly. But me and Cookies, we're on the same page for something. We're here for an Elyssar upset, because I think that an animal is most dangerous when their backs are against the wall, because all they can do is go forward. These are players that have been in Challenger League for so incredibly long that I think that they aren't going to want to leave. Nobody's going to want to leave.
Tanner, upset?
No, I can't see it. So the reason I can't see it is because Elyssar has been pegged. Everyone knows what you need to do to beat Elyssar. I've been saying it on the desk for, I feel like, 5 weeks now, where it's like you just force them to execute, waste their time on the attacks. They can't really trade spice. It doesn't matter if they get the entry kill, they can't convert it because they don't have enough time or utility clear on the execute, because they're just so slow on the entry. I don't think in 1 week's time they have fixed that issue. Aqualix have been looking lights out, and if Aqualix just stick to the game plan to force them to execute, I think Aqualix will have a very successful time today.
Now, how many times, Connor, I'm trying to go through our stats here, how many times have we seen Elyssar on Clubhouse this stage, or even this year?
Boom, 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 boom.
I'm just pulling it up quickly. So this stage, we've seen them twice on Clubhouse. No, once. This will be the second time.
Yes.
And it was a 7-5 victory against Aerial Arise. So Aerial Arise themselves as well, having an up and down stage. Does this mean, to Tanner's point, there's VOD on them, everyone's got them figured out on the whole, but now specifically on the map, and it was only a 7-5. I think this is going to be tough for them.
I think it's going to be incredibly tough. However, one of the biggest things about Clubhouse is with Elyssar, that's the best that they've looked, because they ran the triple entry option. Wimpy was getting involved. Wimpy dropped like 14 kills because he had the Finka LMG and got like 11 of them on the attack. As well as on the defense, they seem to kind of adapt more than what we've seen on different maps. So for Elyssar, we're returning home to a comfortable area where a lot more people can get involved. Heck, we even saw young Alec have a good performance, which has almost felt like a rarity since we last saw him in last season, where he was absolutely crazy. I want to see a return to that form. I've been begging, been on my knees praying and just groveling and hoping that young Alec comes back, because he was really fun to watch. It almost feels like wasted potential, because Elyssar should be good, but they just aren't yet, and maybe Clubhouse is the answer.
Well, they have to hope. Their backs are against the wall. They are poised for relegation at the moment, but they have to claw their way out, and they are going to Clubhouse to take on Aqualix right now.
What's up, everyone? Jonah, we have reached it. Again, it's always bittersweet. It's the last day of the stage before our mid-stage break, but if you had told me, the analyst has said it over and over, if you had told me that Aqualix versus Elyssar was going to decide a top 2 position and a relegation position, and it was going to be Aqualix in top 2, I would have probably called you insane. I would have probably sent you to the psych ward, but here we are.
Crazy that we're here. A lot of surprises today as well. I mean, this stage of CL as a whole has seen such a diversity in maps actually played. Not something we fully acknowledged until now. And the reason I bring that up is because we don't usually see Clubhouse at this point in the season not having even been played by Aqualix once, right? They haven't gone to this map. Elyssar has gone to this map twice, once on stream and once off stream. Our analyst desk didn't remember the off-stream game, but that one was a close overtime loss, right? It was 7-8. They just lost by 1. So not too much you can read into that either. This one should be a good matchup. It's Clubhouse. It is a map that everyone knows. Some people love, some people don't, but it should be a pretty good equalizer for both of these teams when the stakes, especially for Elyssar, are as high as they've ever been.
Yeah, with the beastly Gasher combo that's been going on with Aqualix, they look much less like the Aqualix of old, where we'd always talked about, Aqualix's playstyle. Sure, it can trip up really good teams, but you can also lose to the bottom teams, right? You can beat anyone, you can lose to anyone. And Elyssar have always been super strong fundamentally, but not this stage for whatever reason. And going to Clubhouse, sure, it's a good equalizer map because it goes back to those fundamentals, but Elyssar haven't been losing games off of the other team making hero plays or just like really, really tiny errors in their gameplay. Elyssar have been losing off of a surprising lack of fundamentals. So sure, while Clubhouse is historically, a decent map for both of these teams, I don't know if I agree with Elyssar's pick. I feel like it would have been better to bring him to like a weird map where you can take advantage of, a weird play style or try and kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Compensate for your lack of fundamentals instead of playing into it.
Yeah, that's a fair point. We'll have to see exactly how this one plays out, though, and we'll dive into round number 1 in just a moment with Aqualix starting out on the attacking side and Elyssar kicking things off on the defense. So generally, this map, especially I think this stage, we have seen it go slightly defensive-sided. Hard to know exactly how this one's going to shake up, though, because, I mean, this is a map that does go back and forth pretty often, right? It depends what kind of pace Aqualix want to set for us right out the gates as they start in round number 1 with an attack on basement, as Elyssar will elect to go there first. Nothing too crazy as far as both of these lineups are concerned, but as always, got to pay attention to how Wimpy utilizes those Kiva barriers on the Azami, if that's something he's going to place down early or save till the late round. And in terms of questions on the Aqualix side of things, really no doubt that they're going to have more than enough hard breach to get the job done, because they are electing to bring both the Thermite and the Ace, in addition to the Thatcher, because he was unbanned. They could bring that too, and it can make their lives a whole lot easier.
And because Thatcher is left unbanned, that's going to make Cade a little bit worse. And Elyssar don't want to just waste that utility. They don't want to just bring Electro Claws to, try and batten down the hatches, quite literally, and just have them EMP'd and open. So Giddy is actually going to don Bandit, the active wall denial. So sure, Aqualix have a lot of tools to get said walls open, but will they be able to? If they can't stop Giddy, all that hard breach in the end doesn't really matter. Aqualix are going to start with a full clear of the map. No one from Elyssar is roaming per se. Really, you just had Wimpy on those main stairs, looking to cut off a drone, which he did successfully before he falls back to sight. I mean, if you look at the way that Elyssar are playing this, if you look at their operators even, this is a very bunker-heavy setup. So that just makes Giddy's job even more important, because if Aqualix can't get those walls open, there's not a whole lot of extra holes going on that anchor game for them to take advantage of.
Well, Gasher is going to be important in terms of the soft destruction, not on the site, but from above. That's really going to be his main focus in this early round, is forcing those defenders to scramble around that bottom floor. Make sure there's no spot that they can sit tucked and stay safe. And, if he can, destroy some of the utility with those nades that he has in pocket. Still 2 of those nades in pocket. Still 2 nades from Psychosis. Nobody actually using that explosive potential just yet. As right now, it is just a waiting game without much of a roam to have to clear out and without much pressure being applied by Elyssar actively on that first floor either. Aqualix have had free roam of this map, free time to control this and really pace the round the way they've wanted to. And to their credit, they've done it with pretty good speed. The danger, though, is the bandit trick coming in from Giddy. He'll take care of one of those Selmas, but the other one will go off without a hitch, opening up this angle and making Giddy's job a whole lot harder.
Oh, and the Kiba barrier missing from Wimpy. Was supposed to plug up the hole, but went past. I really like the use of those Selmas from Tra, you know, knowing that it's a bandit. Hey, you know what? EMP the remaining ones that are there off the wall, and bandit can't get all of them. So just chuck them all, and there you go. Open avenue. Beastly as well, working on those hatches, and the first kill comes the way of Gasher. A frag grenade landing at Giddy's feet, and down goes, you know, an operator whose primary utility wasn't going to be that useful anymore, but a big C4 now off the table. In fact, the only C4 on the defense. Psychosis comes in as Afer is down to pick off the Jaeger, so now blue control is in the hands of the attack. The only person trying to stop it is Inrio, but he sprints directly into the Finca. Now it's just one man left, Charles Vivin in the clutch, but it'll be flawless from Aqualix to start the map off well.
Textbook attack from Aqualix. I mean, that is the kind of thing that you gotta watch out for if you're not going for a roam and a big extension or some kind of special hold on the defense. If you're just sitting on the site waiting for Aqualix to take that control, they will. They'll approach from several different angles. They will have more than enough coverage to do the job. That's why they're performing so incredibly well this stage as a whole. That's why they've been especially potent these last few weeks. And Elyssar need to come up with something a little bit more creative to slow them down, right? They just sat around hoping that maybe a little bit of a bandit trick could slow down the attack, hoping that maybe a position in blue, a position in back, a personal could slow them down a bit, but in reality, Aqualix just approached from enough angles, right? We saw that late push into blue, taking that generator control. In addition to pushing in through Church, in through Moto, they had so much control that really there was nothing that Elyssar could do to counter it. Surprising to see the bandit trick such a focus in that last round when Elyssar should have known that they would have to deal with multiple hard breachers and that Thatcher in combination with all of those nades. So it's just about how Elyssar, properly allocate the utility and what kind of strategy they want to focus on going forward to slow this attack down.
They are still rocking said bandit, although Cash is typically a much more successful site for him, especially now that Aqualix have swapped off the double hard breach that we were just praising and countered the bandit so well. So they've only got the thermite to work with. Granted, it is Cash, so while this is bandit's better site, you also don't really need that double hard breach up if you can get this plat wall open, and if Giddy does a good job, then that can be a big if, especially with someone hiding downstairs in blue. Inrio's gonna be kind of soft cover to stop the clear from happening in lounge, and he'll start off the picking. Tra, dead on arrival on that window. That's Thatcher now gone, and a big enemy of that bandit, I mean, the thing that forces the bandit to have to trick is now off the table.
As well, facing a lot of pressure right now, but despite a spray, he wasn't even noticed by Psychosis, so Psychosis gets completely blindsided, and now Aqualix have to really make an adjustment here. Inrio still hasn't been finished off either, and he's not going to give up this position for free. It's going to be Gasher who's going to have to challenge this and force his way into this engagement, but seems a little timid, a little tentative about pushing this, and understandably so. Inrio has this position to hold, and Gasher, until now, didn't have a teammate. With that support, finally coming in from, I think that was Beastly, supporting him from behind, he'll get that kill, he'll push in with some amount of confidence, and he'll get this man advantage slightly reduced for Elyssar, but it's still a 3v4, and Aqualix have a lot of work to do. They've got to do it now without the Thatcher.
And they still haven't even opened up the plat wall. Gasher is in the building, but he's out of nades, using both of them to try and clear Inrio. So now it's upon Afer. He will break in down below. The floor holes uncontested from the defense. Not sure where Afer plans on throwing that nade. Yeah, he puts it away. Now pulling the pin again. It will destroy the bandit batteries, and Giddy is not there in time. So despite their early losses, Aqualix are able to get the wall open relative ease. Not a whole lot to do except for, again, throwing that nade at the floor, although Afer is now out of all of his utility. This is going to be a relatively dry push for Aqualix, really only assisted by the Finkaboos Afer has left, and maybe some flashbangs being thrown in by Beastly to clear a couple angles. Young Alec is still in rafters with 25 seconds left. Aqualix are pressing this. They really want this control. The LMG spots the head, and it's actually Gasher to pick up that kill. So now Aqualix might have the tentative bit of control they need, especially now that Gasher comes up the red stairs, gets the frag on Wimpy. Quad kill from Gasher. Giddy denies the first player in. C4 goes out and misses, and it's an ace from Gasher. The round saved by one of the two IGLs.
I mean, not only am I shocked that Aqualix won that round, but to do it all, for Gasher to do it all, he's been an incredibly high-rated player so far this stage, and proving that in round number 2. Good God. I mean, that looked like Elyssar were going to take the round, not from the get-go, but when we were about 60 seconds in, it looked like Aqualix was going to be fighting a nearly impossible uphill battle for the rest of the round. They lost 2 bodies. It was a 3v5. They still hadn't dealt with Inrio, and time was ticking away. Then, even when they did deal with Inrio finally, which took them another 45 seconds, mind you, they still had to get that plat wall open. They only had about 20 seconds left when somebody finally pushed up garage rafters to take that control. So many things that shouldn't have been allowed to happen happened thanks to some excellent play from Gasher, some really good coordination, use of utility from the entire team. Being able to just buckle down and get that much done in the amount of time they had is especially impressive, but you need to give it up to Gasher for just tearing apart that Elyssar defense.
Yeah, I mean, Gasher got a really bad rap through these last couple stages because he has been the primary IGL and shot caller for Aqualix. He's been on hard support, and he hasn't been allowed to flex his muscles. Now that he's been freed up by the pickup of Beastly, which has worked wonders for Aqualix so far, not only is there another voice now, but it also frees up Asher. He can be on those fragging rolls, those flex rolls, and he has been a highlight player, the star for Aqualix thus far. Really, not only getting those frags, but taking the initiative to be in the positions to get those frags as well. A fearless leader, as good as they come. 6-0 in the first 2 rounds, and Aqualix are going to look to keep the ball rolling as Elyssar do not replay a site. They go to Jim, the other upstairs bomb site, and Aqualix begin their clear of cash with some hard breaching to open up garage. Now they have the long angle peeking down. Their next object is going to be getting this shield off of red.
I like this site choice from Elyssar. The way they're playing this as well, I think it makes a lot of sense given what worked in that last round, right? The early pressure that Elyssar actually applied to Aqualix as they worked their way in. Until the end of the round, it looked like that worked beautifully, and already it's working really well now because Inrio, applying this early pressure, is able to pretty much get 2 kills. He'll collect the kill onto Gasher, working his way up the stairs, and Tra, who got downed while holding a nade in his hand, will die, again, thanks to Inrio. So he might as well claim that kill for his own. But once again, Aqualix find themselves in a 3v5. They've already lost 2 bodies in this early scuffle, and they show no signs of speeding up. They know where Inrio is. They know he's got a deployable shield and some ADSs to protect him, and that's going to make this clear even harder. 90 seconds are all that remains, and Aqualix, they are sitting still if you're stuck in the mud.
Not only that, all of Beastly's flashbangs have been wasted. Afer's got 2 EMPs left, but these ADSs just keep on recharging. Beastly finally gets a frag for his team. He takes Wimpy off of the table, but that's the player inside of Cash, and just as I was about to say, you still have to clear top red. Afer does just that. Walks it, Inrio takes the fight and wins it. He's put on low HP, but the man count is now even for Aqualix. And if they can pull out another miracle like they did last round, we could be seeing 3-0. Elyssar need to bunker up. They cannot get flustered. They need to play around each other and not give Aqualix any opportunities. Lycosis, working his way in, will open the Logi rotate so that it's standing instead of a vault. Understandable if you think there's someone playing right around that corner. They can easily play right off that sound cue. And now the window pressure comes in for Aqualix, looking for a free pick. Young Alec is in a fantastic position to stop this, though, protected by a Kiba barrier as well as that mattress. When he hears that vault prompt, it's an easy swing around for that DMR to finish off whichever player is hopping through these windows. Afer's looking to challenge it, though, and lands the headshot. A beautiful pick and another for Afer, going for 4, shut down by Giddy, but the plant is being completed, and it's gonna go down in time. Beastly, he's traded. Psychosis has the cover, and again, Aqualix take a round they shouldn't have.
This is ridiculous. How do they win that round, Harrison? I have no freaking clue how they pulled that off. I mean, at least we have some idea of how it happened, but there's no reason, there's no rhyme or reason to why Elyssar should lose those rounds. With 20 seconds left, I was still certain that Elyssar was going to win it. It looked like they were playing patient. For a second, I thought they weren't exposing themselves like they did in the previous round. They weren't going to allow Aqualix to just rumble on in and kill them one by one, but boy, was I mistaken. The head of the player right behind the mattress with that Kiba barrier was exposed, and Afer just went on a heater and took his head, then whipped around towards Logi and took down the player that they knew was there. Clearly, some good intel from Aqualix too. They're able to chain so many good things together, but you got to wonder, what is Elyssar doing that for 2 rounds in a row, they have lost a 5v3, that with under a minute to go, they are still holding that tremendous advantage.
I mean, it's unprecedented. And, you know, the analyst desk kind of threw a little bit of shade at Afer, saying, you know, on the attacking side, Afer not been the strongest player for Aqualix this season, right? He's 1-8, I believe they said, on the entry in his last 3 maps, but really stepping up there. I mean, on 20 HP, walking at the guy top red, who is sitting behind a shield and winning that fight. Then walking at the guy holding the Kiba barrier and winning that fight. I mean, Afer, huge part of why Aqualix won that round. That really can't be understated. It was Gasher in round 2, Afer in round 3, and we'll see if someone else is able to step up in round 4 as Aqualix again begin that full map clear. Elyssar, they are terrified to roam right now. They do not want to be up against the Aqualix clear, and they will once again bunker down heavy, this time with a Thunderbird and a Maestro to aid them.
Yeah, don't love that we're seeing the same setup they did in round number 1, pretty much. Of course, the Thunderbird is a little bit new and interesting. They're doing away and, you know, changing up a couple of things here, but the fact that they're all sitting down below on the site, I don't think that's the answer, because that first round was flawless by Aqualix. They had no issues at all. The next 2 rounds, despite the shenanigans in the end and despite the incredible plays from Aqualix that resulted in the 3-0 scoreline we've got right now, Elyssar, with early pressure and some nice extension, got them 2 opening picks. Both rounds. It was in Rio, just that last round. He was sitting in a pretty default spot at the top of red stairs, doing good work. That's the kind of thing that's been working for Elyssar. They haven't been able to transition that into the late round and actually holding those advantages, but if they can do that again in the early round and just figure out a way to maintain that composure in the late round, I think we could be seeing a very different game. But unfortunately, Elyssar, they're just going to sit back and wait and hope that doing the same thing in round number 1 has a different result. The difference is this time that they do have a kill, at least, an opener at that, and onto Gasher, the Sledge. That's pretty impactful.
The Sledge and a highlight player so far. The 3rd opening kill in a row for Inrio. We'll see if they can finally transition that into a win. In comes Psychosis from Oil Pit, being very sneaky. It seems like the Thunderbird is watching the angle. They might be aware of it, as I think there's broken barbed wire at his feet. Missing the Sledge is certainly going to hurt, but forcing the Jaeger off the blue rotate is big. It allows Psychosis further in. Now behind Generator, a freebie on the Vivid. Down goes the smoke, a huge portion of plant denial. Now off the board, Afer follows it up before Tra is traded. We're back to even man count. 3-on-3, but full blue control for the attack. Doesn't matter though, Wimpy and Inrio chime in. They leave Psychosis alone to pick up the pieces. Such low HP for Inrio and Wimpy, but it might not matter. The time's so low. 10 seconds left, and Psychosis has to sprint with this LMG. He needs these last 2 kills in the next 6 seconds, and he'll get one. All he's got to do is land on Wimpy. He's got the pings, and it's in time! Again! Aqualix, from the brink of defeat, just cannot let Elyssar get anything.
I don't know if there's some sort of divine intervention or something happening in this lobby right now, but the fact that they've done this 3 rounds in a row is unbelievable. He was able to sneak in there with a millisecond remaining. That's ridiculous. I mean, you see on this replay here how Psychosis is able to sneak his way into blue and then finding these last 2 kills as he works his way into the site. Look at that. 6/10 of a second left on that clock, and he is able to get that kill. That is ridiculous. I've got no idea how Aqualix have been able to do this now 3 rounds in a row, and Elyssar, they've got to be just banging their heads against a wall. There's nothing else you can say because they have basically won 3 rounds, but actually lost them. Like, how does that happen this many times in one map?
I mean, I don't know. It's like otherworldly. Like, there's got to be some divine intervention. Like, Aqualix hit like the 5-man prayer or something. I have no words. I keep looking back at, and I don't do this often, but I keep looking back at chat just to see people's reactions. And every round is, oh, Aqualix, Gasher, like all caps, Afer. I can't wait till they see that round too, because it is highlight reel after highlight reel for Aqualix. And like you said, this should be like 3-1 Elyssar, 2-2 Elyssar, and it's 4-0. They just keep doing it, and this time, Aqualix make another adjustment. They bring the Flores to try and counter the bandit trick. Unfortunately, the second one is mistimed. So Giddy gets away with 1 successful bandit trick. That means Aqualix now are going to be a little bit more careful and a little slower getting this wall open with only 1 piece of hard breach remaining.
I think the timing was actually not terrible, but Beastly chose to put that hard breach charge on both the walls. Like a classic mistake when you're trying to deal with a bandit, but simply doesn't matter because eventually Gasher has a nade for Giddy down below. They deal with the bandit so they can get this wall open in a moment. They've also collected a kill onto Inrio as well. I mean, we've seen the results of these last 3 rounds when Aqualix have been down 2 men in the early round. What are they going to do when they are up 2 kills in the early round? I mean, that's got to be even more terrifying for Elyssar than anything they've been up against so far. I mean, maybe this is the power-up Elyssar needed. Maybe this is the moment they needed. I think Connor mentioned on the desk, when their back's against the wall, they've got to be the most powerful, right? Maybe that's what's going to happen right now. Maybe we can see Wimpy, Young Alec, and Vivid, both of whom are on 0 kills, by the way, hit the power-up and go absolutely insane. But Young Alec, he's going to be feeling the pressure right now as the Raptors push comes in, and he can do nothing to stop Afer from taking his life. Vivid finds the scoreboard and gets 1 kill, but as Afer takes down Wimpy, it is all up to the smoke in a 1v4.
Another 3K for Afer, and Vivid does not have enough gas to delay the rest of the time on the clock. There is a full minute left for Aqualix to push the 4v1. Flashes come in. Do not hit Vivid, though. He'll spot Tra just for a second, but unable to land the shot. Another gas canister goes in, but Psychosis finishes the round as all of Aqualix push together, and it's 5-0. Elyssar, they've had so many chances. They haven't been able to put a point away, and it's just, I mean, finally they'll take a timeout. They probably should have taken a timeout after, like, round 3. But they'll finally take a timeout and try and figure out what the hell's going on.
A much needed timeout, Harrison, but I agree. It is, feels like too little too late. Does it not? I mean, they've already lost 5 rounds on Clubhouse defense, and they've lost 4 of those rounds. Well, 3 of those rounds in mental chalking fashion. Right?
Absolutely.
Not something you can recover from easily. I mean, even after 1 of those rounds, I'd consider taking a timeout if it were me. After 2 of those rounds from Aqualix, I'm definitely taking a timeout because I just want to walk away from my PC and, like, yes, smash my head against the wall, but most importantly, just, like, you know, take a breather. Hit the reset
Let's get like
button.
a drink of water or something.
Yeah, exactly. Just find a way to recuperate. Get yourself back in that fighting mindset. And then it happens a third time in a row. Frankly, I don't know what you're supposed to do after that. Because now Aqualix, they sit very poised and ready to take a 6-0 attacking half. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 7-0 the way this is going, unless Elyssar can finally get one round, and that one round is enough to give them some attacking momentum, right? Gives them the confidence they desperately need once again, because right now it is just not clicking for Elyssar as a whole.
Well, the Psycho's clutch just happened on stream, and once again, it is just a sea of all caps. I mean, while it does suck for Elyssar, and I mean, just in doing the predictions, typing out not voting Elyssar was like, it felt wrong. But I mean, games like this are just so entertaining to watch, and Psychosis, a beautiful shot onto young Alec, the Cade, thought he'd get jiggy with it. Thought he'd try and go for a bit of a flank. Probably I think the first flank attempt that we've seen all game from Elyssar. You know, they went into the timeout, they were like, all right, boys, we gotta try and disrupt the Aqualix process. We'll get on a flank, we'll try and stick it to him, and it was instantly shut down. Young Alec now 0-6 through the first half.
And not the defensive performance that I don't think he was hoping for. 0 kills on all of the
Assist, though.
big assist. Solid assist. No, that's not going to be enough to put Elyssar over the edge here. Now they're going to have to find a way to stall out an attack that is continuing to build. A little bit of an impact trick will slow down Psychosis from opening up this wall, but as he's got 2 more Selma charges in pocket, that construction wall is going to be opened up smoothly enough, and eventually Vivid's been taken care of. Inrio will find the scoreboard again. 7th kill for him, definitely the top frag, and Soul, real performer from Elyssar right now. And he is going positive, but he needs to find a little bit more in this round, or give one of his teammates some of that energy in this round, because he's got a lot of work left to do. Aqualix still have 4 men up. They still have a full minute to work with, and this right now definitely favors them.
It'll favor them even more as Psychosis puts us in a 4 versus 2. Giddy will clap back. Wimpy as well. The man count is now even. And Tra's stuck on the roof. Beastly's the only man now inside the building, but a big nade from Tra puts Wimpy in a do-or-die situation. 1v2, pretty much 1 HP, 5-0 at the half. He is the only man standing between Aqualix and perfection on their attack. And I love this from Aqualix. They're not going to go in and play the trade game. They'll get on the drone. Scope it out first. They don't want to take any risks, because just 1 round could be enough for Elyssar to start and mount a comeback. But a flawless half, there's almost no recovering from that, both mentally and in the game. They'll spot him. He's in gym. Tra will go down, looking for the next Wimpy pre-fires, but can't land it. Looking like he wants to retreat, but Beastly, he's peeking around the left side, and Wimpy doesn't drop the hatch. He stays in sight. They have the pings, and Aqualix take a 6-0 attack on Club.
Yeah, got a little close in the end, but Aqualix stuck it out. And of course, if there's any sort of clutch situation in today's matchup, it's Aqualix who are going to win that clutch situation every single time. And they have won that clutch every single time so far. Tough there for Wimpy because he was looking the right way. And to our perspective, with our outlines that we could see, it looked like he may have saw Beastly cross, right? He was looking what appeared to be the right place at the right time. I guess just looked away or peered the other side, went for that changing up of that angle just at the wrong moment. And so Beastly was able to sneak in and eventually get that kill. So like you said, Harrison, it is 6-0. It is
Oh my god,
a map that Elyssar are looking like they're in a bit of trouble. I think that's one way of putting it. With relegations staring them in the face, and with a 6-round deficit also staring them in the face, I don't imagine they are feeling very hopeful about this one. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, I imagine Aqualix are feeling as confident as they've ever felt in their lives. I would not be shocked if we see a lot of defensive aggression here, right? Obviously, we can see that they are setting up for an extension. They're going to control as much of this map as they can for as long as they can, but I also wonder if Aqualix may be jumping out of a window or swinging or taking fights that they might not have taken otherwise, given the advantage and the 6-round cushion that they have at their fingertips.
I mean, they're set up all the way on the top floor. They've got shields to assist, reinforcements as well, and most importantly, Jonah, they've got a rook. Gasher's got the MP5 with the 2X. He's gonna be looking to do some dastardly things with it. Aper's gonna be the first to take some damage, but on the re-swing, peeks into the LMG fire. There's a drone on him, and Aper still wins that. Dripping, oozing confidence right now. Aqualix start off the round with an incredibly important pick.
That's a big one. Wimpy was trying to get in early, maybe catch those rotations from Aqualix before they could maneuver around, but it's Afer who was able to collect that kill, and he is hungry for more. It'll be Gasher who actually gets the second to keep young Alec at 0 kills for what could be the entire map if Elyssar cannot extend this one just one more round. Inrio nearly catching a kill, but he's going to look the wrong way, and Afer, who's playing close on the breach, will just punish Inrio for trying to use his drone. Afer's on for 3. Goodbye, Giddy. It is Vivid, last player standing, and it looks like what we said is coming to fruition. Young Alec, 0-7. This match just about to be over. It is Vivid in a 1 versus 4, a nearly impossible situation in any lobby, in any matchup, but right now, with Aqualix feeling the way that they are feeling, playing the way that they are playing, there is nothing that Vivid will be able to do, especially if Tra just keeps swinging him with a pistol, and if Gasher just runs at him, if all of these defenders keep running at him, it's going to be Psychosis with a Deagle headshot to close out the game, and the most demoralizing finish of a stage from Elyssar that could have ever happened.
Jonah, the only team to get 7-0'd in this stage of CL is Elyssar, and they have now been 7-0'd twice.
Oh boy.
They got 7-0'd today. They got 7-0'd last Saturday by Nocturnes, and you gotta think, I mean, have they just given up? Because you look at this team. I mean, just read the names on this team. Giddy, Vivid, Inrio, Young Alec, Wimpy. Young Alec and Wimpy were in the NAL, and they did pretty damn well for themselves. Giddy, Vivid, and Inrio were T3 Dons, who became T2 Dons. They became household names, and they have been one of the most consistent trios that CL has ever seen. And for some reason, despite all this individual talent, something's not clicking.
This wasn't happening for them today. It wasn't happening for them last week. You got to give it up to Aqualix, right, for mounting a performance of the ages. Because any team in CL, like, it's going to be very, very hard to do what Aqualix just did 3 rounds in a row. But to do it just once is insanely impressive. They did it 3 times. They made it look easy. And then in the last round, I mean, just showcasing all of that gun skill, all of that confidence. Ridiculous. Honestly, ridiculous. But we'll send it back to our analyst desk here. I got to gauge their reactions, and maybe Connor will regret adjusting that prediction to the underdogs here. We'll see what they have to say.
Well, Connor, it looks like I'll send it to you first to answer back to that, but as well to talk about the fact that I know this was a 7-0, but man, we were talking about how this could have been 3-1 for Elyssar after the 4th round, and I think once they dropped that 3rd round that they should have won, it looked like all wind was just out of their sails.
Yeah, it was rough. It was no longer a sailboat. It was a canoe, and they were up the creek without a paddle, and everything looked rough. And there was a certain song I listened to before this whole game came on, and it was saying to listen to your heart, do what it's telling you to. That was my prediction for Elyssar. I listened to my heart, and man, oh man, I was completely betrayed because Aqualix, they looked dang good. There's nothing that I can possibly think of to say that they really did wrong. Psychosis, 2.1 rating. Everybody but Traw having amazing work. And right there, young Alec with a 0.04. That might be the worst rating that we've had here. That's
Tanner-
from a former Pro League player.
Tanner, Psychosis was 11-2 after the first half.
I mean, it's a three-headed monster. You got a full-on Cerberus going on here with these three, because each of them had impressive rounds. Afer got an ace, Gasher got an ace in round 2. Afer went nuts in round 3. Psychosis had a 3K in round 1, and then he had the most incredible 1v3 I think I've ever seen. With 15 seconds left, no possession of the diffuser. If both Wimpy and Inrio just don't peek him, if they just don't peek him, he cannot physically win the round on time. They needed to waste half a second more, and they would have won that round. It was guaranteed. And there's no discipline. Where is the discipline? Just don't peek him. And they peeked him. And Psychosis is going to win that. I mean, he's been on fire the whole game. You said he was 11-1 in the first half. Like, why are you giving that guy the opportunity to take gunfights is beyond me. Just don't peek him. I don't know.
They were Aqualix they were the vacuums for discipline. They had all the discipline and they took it. And this was the end result. Yeah, without getting into like too harsh terminologies, there's not much more you can say about this. So I'll leave it to someone who has had harsh terminologies at times, but has been softer as of late and more agreeable, and that's Gasher. We'll talk to him and ask him a few questions. Gasher, I mean, just when we thought your team couldn't impress anymore, I've got to throw this to you. I don't know if you realize this. Round 6 was the only round where there wasn't a player on your team with a 3K or better. Every other round, someone was just tearing it up. What were you guys on today?
I don't even know that. I literally after the third round, I literally just said we can literally do whatever we want, we win. So I literally just started running around, and my team kept winning. And I don't know, we just things were going wrong, and they still went right. So I don't know. It was just a very interesting game to play.
So what grade would you give your team for this stage after, you started it off with 0-2, and things were feeling a little grim, but 0-2 is early, and now look at you guys.
Yeah, I wish we could have that first week back, because it's kind of it's a blessing in disguise. We had to lose those 2 games in order to figure out how to win the rest of them, and obviously it sucks, but we know going next stage what we need to do to win. And yeah, I think overall we had a really successful stage. Like last stage we were almost relegated, and this stage we are fighting for first. It's a completely different feeling and mindset, and yeah, I think we're where we belong.
Yeah. And I know you can't give away any trade secrets or anything like that, but I have to imagine with the kind of success you've put together, there shouldn't be too many changes with the team going into stage 3, because you guys have been lights out.
Yeah, we've been playing really well. I think today was just I just showcased, like I said, we literally just did I don't even think we played well today, in terms of getting walls walls open, nading people, doing things as an actual team. But it just didn't matter for whatever reason. I don't think anyone lost a gunfight. It was just killed everyone one round. I aced. I don't even know what happened. I just know it was I just spawned in and we won. And then
Some
I was
days
okay, cool. And we moved
the
on.
guns are just hot. Some days. Well, thank you, Gasher, and that was a treat to watch. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think kind of like us on the desk here, you guys watched that game. There is only so much more that we can add to it, because it's one of those games. It is what it is, and the guns were hot. But that one's done and dusted faster than anyone expected. Now we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come up, it's going to be Unemployment taking on the freshly minted Vipers.